Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and today I'm going to be diving into my dividend portfolio that I'm going to eventually use to retire early. Today's video is going to cover things like the current portfolio value, the best and worst performers, what was bought in June, the dividends received in June, checking on the month over month and year over year growth, looking at my dividend projections for the next 12 months, and lastly, I'm going to show you the progress of the infamous Dividend Snowball. So if you guys got paid in June, comment down below and let me know how you did, as I love to cheer you on in the comments. We have a lot to get to in today's video, so let's go ahead and dive in and see what this portfolio is worth and how it's trending so far this year. All right, and looking here, you're going to be able to see the account balance and how it's grown so far in 2024. Back in January, I had an account balance of $67,196.27. Concluding May, that bumped up to $73,505.97. And now, concluding June, we're up to $74,449.90. So now I do want to show you guys that I do have a $17,000 cash position in this account, which I call the emergency fund. The wife and I were getting a disrespectful interest rate from our bank, so we decided to move it over here to SPAXX with Fidelity and get the current 4.97% interest. Keep in mind that anything $17,000 or less we pretend doesn't exist, and anything over $17,000 is fair game to invest. So I'll show you guys right now what I added to the account for the month of July and how much I actually have to invest for the month of July. So right here, you're going to be able to see that $833.34 that will be added on July 1st to invest, and down here it'll say available to trade, which is $17,899.03, keeping in mind that that 17 doesn't exist. So the money I have to invest for the month of July is $899.03. Now, what will I be investing in? Well, right here, you'll be able to see all 11 of my holdings, 9 of which are active, 2 of which are dormant. The 2 dormant ones do not get money, and those are Starbucks and ExxonMobil. They are both under punishment right now for not performing up to my standards, but the rest of my stocks will get added money. So I actually wanted to go over and show you guys the top 3 and bottom 3 performers, but just over the last 30 days in this account, as the numbers are actually pretty crazy. So right here, coming in at number 3, the third best performing stock in my portfolio just over the past month is none other than Costco. That's up 5.38%. Coming in at number 2 is AbbVie, that was up 10.25% in a single month, and actually tied with AbbVie, also known as coming in at number 1, is Apple, that was also up 10.25%. So now let's go ahead and dive into the bottom 3, the worst performers in the portfolio over the past 30 days. So in the bottom 3 this month was actually Visa, coming in at number 3, that was down 3.75% for the month. Coming in at number 2 was NextEra Energy, it was actually down 7.97% for the month, which is crazy because this one was actually my top performer over the past 2 months. So it did have a little bit of a pullback this month. And then coming in at number 1, my worst performer this month was Pool Corp, that was down 15.14% in a single month, which is really, really impressive for all the wrong reasons. So next, I wanted to show you the overall winners, the top 3 positions in my portfolio since I've had those positions. So looking right here, you're going to be able to see that Costco leads the pack, up 55.38% or $2,349.63. Microsoft comes in at number 2, up 44.13% or $2,346.19. And then ExxonMobil rounds out the top 3, up 35.71% or $1,258.88. Now, of course, I have losers in here too, so I wanted to share those with you as well. My worst performer in the portfolio is actually Starbucks, that's down 19.85% or $865.33. Coming in at number 2 is now Pool Corp, that's down 17.15% or $875.26. And rounding out the bottom 3 is APD, that's down 8.2% or $335.36. Taking a look down here at the bottom, you can see that this account is up 14.65% or $7,225.85. Next, let's go ahead and compare this portfolio and see how it's doing when compared to the overall markets. So right here, you're going to be able to see how my portfolio over the past 1 month, 3 months, year to date, and 1 year performs when it's compared to the S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ. So over the past month, my portfolio is basically flat, while the S&P is up almost 5%, the Dow Jones is up a little over 2.5%, and the NASDAQ is up almost 7% in a single month, which is wild. So we are getting crushed over the past month by all 3 indexes, but looking over here at year to date, I'm up 4.56% with the money weighted returns, while the S&P is up 11.3, the Dow Jones is up 3.5, and the NASDAQ's up 11.8. So I am outperforming the Dow Jones so far year to date, and we're going to see if we can catch up to the S&P and the NASDAQ. Next up, I wanted to show you what I spent my money on in the month of June with this chart right here. You're going to be able to see all the stocks on the left side, including what I bought, how much I spent, and the average purchase price of each of those positions. So it looks like the stock I bought the most of this month was 1.697 shares of NextEra Energy. The stock I spent the most on was Visa at $126.12, and the stock I added the most in forward income to was also NextEra Energy, bringing in an additional $3.50. In total, I bought 5.014 shares. Over the course of 18 trading days, I spent $931.92 to add $17.41 in added forward income. Now, of course, buying all these stocks must have done something to my cost basis, right? Well, you're right. So I wanted to share this chart with you right here. Again, tickers on the left, previous cost basis as of the end of May is right here. And then we have the new cost basis. So in this case, the difference column, anything in red means I increased my cost basis, which is not ideal. And anything in green means I decreased my cost basis, which obviously means my position is underwater, but I also got a lower cost basis. So, you get what you get kind of thing. So overall, I was able to lower my cost basis in 2 of my holdings and increase my cost basis in 8 of my holdings. And down here at the very bottom, I wanted to draw attention to ExxonMobil. My cost basis did increase by 24 cents on this one. Even though I personally didn't buy anything, I did get dividends from ExxonMobil this month. So those were dripped, which caused my cost basis to increase. So speaking of those dividends, I want to show you who all paid me in the month of June. So for the month of June, I received 4 dividend payments and 1 interest payment. First up, we had Visa on June 3rd, where they paid me $9.11. That's compared to the $8.43 the last time they paid me, $4.73 last June, $2.04 the June before that, and 9 cents the first time they paid me. In total, Visa has paid me $50.84 over the course of holding this stock. Next up, I got dividends from ExxonMobil on June 10th in the form of $39.15. That's compared to the $38.81 the last time they paid me, $26.88 last June, $15.53 the June before that, $14.92 the June before that, and $1.28 the very first time I received dividends from ExxonMobil. In total, Exxon's paid me $313.81, or 5.91% of my total career dividends in my IBA account. 3 days later, on June 13th, I received $12.52 from Microsoft, which is up from the $12.02 the last time they paid me, the $7.43 they paid me last June, the $2.86 they paid me the June before that, and the $2.54 I received the first time they paid me. In total, Microsoft's paid me $73.02, or 1.38% of my total dividends received in this account. Next up, on June 17th, I received $27.86 from NextEra Energy. That's up from the $25.42 the last time they paid me, $13.65 last June, $5.52 the June before that, and $2.73 the first time they paid me. In total, NextEra Energy's paid me $143.38, or 2.7% of the total dividends received in this account. Finally, rounding out the month, I got that all-important interest payment from SPAXX in the form of $70.90. This now puts me at 4 months in a row over $70, and this time last year I made $31.86 in interest from this one, and overall SPAXX has now paid me $747.72 in dividends, which is 14.09% of my career dividends earned in this account. Next up, I want to add all these numbers up and see how it compares to last June and also how it's doing so far this year. So looking right here, you guys will be able to see all kinds of information. So you guys will be able to see that concluding this month, I actually brought in $159.54 for the month of June, which is up 88.7% when compared to last June. We brought in $464.55 for quarter 2, which is up 110.8% from last quarter 2. And down here at the bottom, not only did I pass the dividend income I received for all of 2023 this month, but I've also passed $1,000 in dividends for the first time in my life, and we still have 6 more months to push the bar even further. That $1,012.40 number you see down here at the bottom is already 8.3% higher than the dividends I received for all of 2023, and as I said, we still have 6 more months to go. One thing I like to do at the end of each month that I typically don't share on these videos is I like to do an end of the year projection as far as how my dividends are going so far this year, and halfway through this year, I now have an end of year projection of $1,925.69 if I multiply what was made to this point in the year and subtract the $99.11 special dividend received from Costco in January. I'm not sure if I can get that up to $2,000 by the end of the year, but we're sure going to try. Speaking of projected income, I also want to show you guys this chart because this chart is the amount of just dividend income I'm projected to get over the next rolling 12 months, providing I don't add any new money and my stocks don't raise their dividends, which we know they will. So if you go back to January, I had a yearly projection of $918.73. In May, that projection bumped up to $1,015.24. And now concluding June, we're at $1,032.59. Keeping in mind that we're clearly going to blow by this number in 2024, but this doesn't include that all famous SPAXX dividend that we receive at the end of each month, so that greatly inflates my numbers by a lot. Also, quickly, I wanted to show you guys this chart, which shows you the amount of career dividends I've received in this account, which is up to $2,488.36, and I've also received 11.66 shares for free via the drip. So the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is the infamous Dividend Snowball tracker. So I wanted to find a way that I could clearly see that my Dividend Snowball was rolling, and not only rolling, but picking up speed. So I decided to make these charts you're going to see right here. So the only one that actually had changes in it this month was the buy 100 chart, which I'm going to share right here. So you guys will be able to see all the way down here at the bottom. My date start and my date end is now May 31st to June 17th, where it took me 17 days to go from $2,300, which was my last milestone, up to $2,400. So you guys will be able to see all the way at the very top. It used to take me 394 days to make my first $100, and then it's gotten progressively slower, aka the Dividend Snowball is picking up speed, all the way to the point where it's now taking somewhere in the teens to make $100. So as I said, I'm going to share the $250, the $500, and the $1,000 marks right here on the screen, but there was no changes this month to report here, so I just wanted to share it in honor of transparency. But that's it for the month of June for me. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like on the video as it helps me grow the channel, and if you guys aren't subscribed already, make sure you do that so you can keep up with this portfolio and my other super exciting dividend content in the works. And if you guys happen to miss my last video where I answered the question, what if I never sold any of my stocks? Make sure you check that out right here. But until next time, see ya.